You gonna interview somebody and bring me up? Don't just sit there and let them talk shit. Ask questions.
Hold up. It's really starting to look like Cam Newton's position at ESPN might be on shaky ground, y'all. And listen to this. The reason I'm saying that is because there's chatter heating up about Shannon Sharpe possibly making a return to ESPN. So now you have to wonder, is that why Cam Newton decided to go left and sit down with Jason Whitlock? Because let's be real, that Whitlock interview didn't just make noise, it shook the whole ESPN ecosystem, especially since Whitlock has been openly anti-ESPN. So yeah, Cam linking up with Jason Whitlock while still on ESPN's payroll, that didn't sit right with folks over there at all. In fact, it got so serious that Stephen A. Smith and Ryan Clark actually spoke up and called Cam out directly. Now listen to this. Ryan Clark jumped on X and basically said, if someone shows you love by having you on their show twice a week, you don't turn around and platform their known enemy and let them speak on that person. He followed that up real quick by saying, that's not solid at all. Then he doubled down. Loyalty is rare these days, man. So yeah, Ryan Clark is flat out labeling Cam Newton as disloyal. He's basically calling him a snake without sugarcoating it, saying he went behind Stephen A.'s back. And let's not forget, Stephen A. gave him that spotlight. Stephen A. helped bring him into the ESPN fold. And now this is how it gets repaid? That's how they're looking at it. You can already feel it. Drama is about to explode over at ESPN. Things are getting real uncomfortable real fast. And honestly, Cam Newton might have just opened the exit door for himself at ESPN. Now here's where it gets interesting. This is what Stephen A. Smith had to say about the whole situation. I'm going to run a piece of that clip for you, especially if you've been keeping up with my previous breakdowns on this. But yeah, listen closely. Let's get into what Stephen A. Smith actually said.
Interview somebody and bring me up? Don't just sit there and let them talk shit. Ask questions. Let them prove it. I'm a fraud? How? If you're gonna bring me up and you're somebody that's in my inner circle and you talk to me, grill them. Don't just let them talk smack.
Why, Cam, did you allow Jason to come on and have so much strong opinion about Stephen A? Why? Is because it happened to Carmelo when Stephen A went and talked about LeBron.
That is true.
Let me get to LeBron. I don't like his, not a little bit. You do not understand the links this man would go to. This dates back more than a decade. I believe he's one way publicly, he's another way privately. You know, he might not be interviewed and he might not be quoted, but the things he says and the things he has said to people, it's gotten back to me. The things that he's tried to do, if it were up to him, I wouldn't be where I am today.
Now hold up. Fast forward a bit. And suddenly, we start hearing buzz that Shannon Sharpe might be making his way back to ESPN. And listen to this, more and more reports just kept dropping back to back. What's wild is Jason Whitlock had already warned Cam Newton long before they even sat down for that interview. So now you have to ask yourself, could this be the missing link that ties everything together? Because why did Cam Newton even bring Jason Whitlock on? You won't believe this, but maybe Cam Newton already sees the writing on the wall and knows his time at ESPN might be running out. So yeah, let's tap in and see exactly what Jason Whitlock said when he put that warning out there for Cam Newton. Here's that clip right here. And real quick, if you're rocking with the content, go ahead and hit that thumbs up. It really helps push the channel, and I genuinely appreciate it. Thank you.
Working on replacing you at first take. Trust me, that's where all this Shannon Sharpe thing is coming from. They're basically saying you're too much of a clown and it's not working. And that's why I keep giving you the advice that you think I hate you, think I'm trying to destroy you. I'm not. I'm trying to give you good advice. It's not working. Someone from ESPN is going to rush in and some producer you're tight with and Stephen A. says, oh no, it's great, Cam. You're being lied to. That's why there's talk of bringing Shannon Sharpe back, because you have blown an opportunity. Reduce the clown stuff. Increase the substance or find some. Or, and here's the real deal. You need to come over here and talk with me. Seriously, in a real way. You need to allow yourself to be challenged and have to respond to someone who has authentic concern and support for you. But you need to be challenged. And that would be fascinating. You're not being challenged over there with those guys, and they got you off in the fantasy world and la la land. Anyway, I just wanted to say that to you.
All right, so that's what Jason Whitlock had to say. Straight up warning Cam Newton that his role at ESPN could be in danger, especially with Shannon Sharpe possibly stepping in. Now listen to this. If Sharpe really is on the way back, you already know somebody's spot has to open up. And let's be real, all signs are pointing at Cam Newton being that guy on the chopping block, which honestly makes you think. Doesn't it explain why Cam would go against the grain and sit down with Jason Whitlock, knowing his stance against Stephen A. Smith and ESPN? Because hold up, this isn't just any move. This is your actual job we're talking about. And don't forget, Stephen A. Smith is the one who helped get Cam through the door at First Take in the first place. We all know Stephen A. takes that role seriously and isn't shy about reminding people of it, right?
I'm saying. Whoa. Let me answer the question. You asked the question, let me answer it. Yes, I got my manana, no doubt about that. No problem. There's plenty of people throughout ESPN's history I have helped get theirs. And anybody who would challenge what the hell I just said to you on national television, they better beware. They better not utter that publicly, because I can tell you, and I didn't say one, I said many. And by the way, Cam Newton, while you're doing that, you can ask the bosses themselves. Plenty of times, spanning my 20 plus years here. Look at the roster. Look at the people here. Look at the diversity on the air. Oh, trust me, I will proudly stand up on a banner and say, I got a little something to do with that, because there's plenty of people that I have fought for over the years. That has never, ever changed. To answer that question directly.
I'm probably one of those. So shout out to Stephen A. for that.
And honestly, I think this right here explains why Cam Newton handled it the way he did during that moment with Jason Whitlock. Listen to this. Whitlock actually tried to play it respectfully, basically saying, I'm not even going to go there about Stephen A. Smith because I know you work with him. But hold up, Cam wasn't trying to protect that at all. He shut that down quickly. Like, nah, it's not even like that. The way Cam came off, it was more like, yo, that's just somebody I work with, nothing deeper. That's the energy he gave. Like, Stephen A. is just a colleague, not someone he's riding for or going out of his way to defend. And let's be real, that says a lot, especially when you're letting Whitlock go off and call the man a fraud and everything else. If you missed that moment, don't worry. Let's run that clip back one more time right here.
Look, and I got to be respectful. You work with Stephen A. And so
this has
I don't want to go.
Listen. Look, you said you gonna keep it in a buck.
A thousand.
Keep it 1,000 now. At the end of the day, I'm cordial with Stephen A. Smith just like I'm cordial with anybody else. It shouldn't come with a filter preface with it. And it's not to say that I'm about to sit there, hey, I got you. No, it's just a simple question.
Your words, your statement.
What is it up with
man,
you and Stephen A?
I've done the homework on Stephen A. He's fraudulent. He's lying about his college basketball career. He's admitted he's lying about his college basketball career. If I sat in the media space for 20 years telling everybody, I played for Big House Games and I got a full ride scholarship after knocking down 17 straight three-pointers in a scrimmage on a Sunday when they played a game on Saturday and they hosted a scrimmage on Sunday and I knocked down 17 straight three-pointers and they gave me a scholarship on the spot. Anybody familiar with HBCUs? Anybody familiar with Winston-Salem State and how little money Winston-Salem State has and had back then? They're not giving out scholarships on the spot to anybody. It's all a lie. And I've done the homework. And he runs around with these former teammates. There's some dude named Gary Stevens that if you go back and look at the newspaper articles like I did, Gary Stevens was some 6'3" guard. The Gary Stevens that Stephen A runs around with is some 5'9" midget who played basketball up in New York for some school called Old Westbury. They're running around taking flights and posting Instagram photos. Yeah, we're Winston-Salem State teammates. It's all a lie.
So yeah, as you can see, Jason Whitlock was really holding back. Like, yo, I could say more, but I'm choosing not to. While Cam Newton basically made it clear he's not anybody's puppet at ESPN or for Stephen A. Smith. Listen to this. Cam's energy was more like, I'm not about to move like Ryan Clark and jump out there playing defense every time somebody speaks. He's not trying to police the conversation or shut people down when they say something controversial. Nah, Cam wants the dialogue, he wants the raw content, and he's gonna let it fly. And you already know what that does. It gets people talking, it stirs the pot, and that's exactly the lane Cam Newton is leaning into with his 4th and 1 podcast. He thrives in that space, being part of the conversation and keeping his name buzzing. But hold up, this whole situation? Yeah, it's getting messy, especially with Ryan Clark jumping in how he did, and now Jason Whitlock doubling down even harder. Then you got Cam Newton throwing subtle shots at Stephen A. and Stephen A. firing right back at Cam. All of this stemming from that one Jason Whitlock interview. Wild, right? So yeah, Cam definitely went against the grain here and shook things up in a big way. Now I want to hear from you. Drop your thoughts down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to hit that like button and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next one. I'll catch you on the next video. We out.